Hey, hello.
Hello.
We're so glad you're here. We hope that you are reading the banner and are saying hello to us in the chat. As you come on, we want to talk to you. We want you to respond to our things. We want you to respond to these great authors. We're very, very excited. I decided, so first of all, hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm M.M. DeVoe. Hello, I founded Pen Parentis. How exciting. And now I run the thing. And Marina is our co-host, and she's pretty new. So I wanted to give her a couple of seconds to talk about Book Biz Hub, which she started. So Marina, take it away. Talk a little bit.
Why, thank you, Milda.
You're welcome.
Well, Book Biz Hub is a culmination of nearly a decade of working with writers at every phase of their writing careers. And so after the award-winning Brooklyn Writers Press, I decided to create Book Biz Hub to have the podcast and the two presses and everything that authors need A to Z on publishing independently but professionally.
Yes,
How's
we
that?
love it. We love it. You're amazing. And the
Thank you.
podcast is like live or almost
Book
live?
Biz
or-
Insider podcast is launching this month. So
Very
I'm
exciting.
really excited about that too. Yes.
There's so much going
thank
on
you.
this month. The other thing
Thank
that's
you.
going on right this very minute is our fellowship, the Pen Parentis Writing Fellowship for New
Yes.
Parents. So if you out there in Viewerland, if you have small children, anybody under 10, you can have older children as well, but you must have at least one child under the age of 10 by November 2026. You are eligible.
Get to it.
I know, right? All right. Nice.
Sorry, couldn't resist.
Nice. But that's awesome. Okay, so anyway, so the fellowship is open. We are very excited about that. And we are excited to welcome our readers today. So our topic is reimagination and reclamation, which is going to be a pretty fascinating topic. And it looks like all of our readers are here. So let's introduce them. Marina, bring them on one by one.
Yes. Okay. First, we have Len Lawson joining us this evening. Hello, Len. Chital Mehta.
Chital.
And hoping that Fred Moten has made it. Did he
There
make
he
it? Yes.
He's there. Yes.
He's here.
Under the wire.
Professor is here.
Okay. So excitingly, we have all these lovely writers. And Len has actually read for us before. Len read for us. He was one of our very last in-person salon readers in January of 2020. You remember that, Len?
I do. It's crazy to think about it now that I was able to get on a flight and able to go from South Carolina to there.
It was pretty bad.
Before everything shut down, but it was a great time.
It was so cool. And I remember when you were there, you said that we should give a prize for the person who came from the farthest away. And I know now you're South Carolina. Chital's in Delaware. Fred, where are you located right now?
I'm in Clinton Corners, New York.
Clinton Corners, New York. So I don't know. You guys are all going to have to thumb wrestle to see who is the farthest and the closest. I think it's probably still Len. But
Still got the title.
Yeah. I do want to take just a second to thank our sponsors. Our sponsor today is Bert Davis Executive Search. They are a boutique retained executive search firm with 5 decades of experience identifying and placing transformative senior leaders. They specialize in leadership roles across educational technology, publishing, financial services, and professional services. They partner closely with organizations to recruit executives who drive growth, innovation, and long-term organizational performance. Bert Davis is something that you would all know if you work in publishing or higher academia. You probably know them already. And if you don't, maybe you want to get a job. So that might be a good place for you to list. But they really love us, and I'm really excited about it. And also, of course, we must thank our friends at the DeGroat Foundation, the Poetry Foundation, and the excellent New York State Council on the Arts, who are our great funders. So thank you very much to our funders. And now let us talk about poetry and writing. But first, let's look at the comments and see if anybody has followed. Yes, Drew from Sydney, Australia. So speaking of like who's the farthest away, so
Yes.
the readers can see your chats. So if you write your name and if you say hello, and if while they're reading, if you give them thumbs up, if you give them comments or questions, we see it. So it would be pretty cool of you if you responded to them as they're reading. And speaking of reading, Marina.
All right, are we ready to get started? Let's go. Len Lawson is the author of Negro Asylum for the Lunatic Insane and Chime, with a new collection, New Names for Stars, forthcoming in 2026. He is also the editor of The Future of Black and Hand in Hand. His work has appeared in journals including Callaloo, Mississippi Review, and Ninth Letter, and he has received fellowships from Tin House, Callaloo, Barbados, and the Vermont Studio Center. He holds a PhD and an MFA and is Director of African American Studies and Assistant Professor of English at Newberry College in South Carolina. Welcome, Len. We're so excited to have you with us tonight.
Yay!
All right. Glad to be here. So much energy. I don't know how to protect myself.
Come on!
I'm having pretty live here. So, I'm gonna get started. So I'm just gonna read a couple of things. These are a couple of untitled poems from my latest collection. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. A boy with his mother's robe tied around his neck will climb a tree trunk, coil his legs on a limb, spring into the air, and touch ground before his belly reaches his throat. The cruelty of this world would have us believe that falling is flying, that the shoulder blades never secreted wings. Gravity is a bully, shattering the desire for liftoff, crushing the burden of imagination, stifling our tongues from the taste of clouds. The God of this world even said so when he struck down the tower of men as they erected it toward his throne. To see the wildness in their eyes for construction, to feel their hearts kindle and snap like a winter fire, tearing the flesh from their bones, like the caped boy landing on his knees, knowing they would one day soon see and be their God, no more mindful than the winged insect who loses its memory of home, smacked down by the hand of mercy, or like the boy landing on his knees, upset he didn't fly.
Aww.
Okay, and this is the second untitled. Point somewhere in the blackness to a kernel of light and say, baby, that one is yours. Hold her close on a cool meadow, a blanket sealing your bond. She shudders at the loss of a streaking tear down the galaxy of her cheek, dares not gaze longer into your eyes than you can see the blurry blink of light. The star has cried too, winced at how you gave it a master, turned its back before the scream of its budding, before it swallows your next generation's whole. Tell your child it twinkled that night. Your seed will smile back, yet stars too are only seeds planted by a patient hand. In the night sky, you see only an echo of its pulse, a beating heart struggling to thrive in the womb. Your child prays to it because she has never beheld the destiny of a merciless star. If you're going to name a star after her mother, how long are you willing to wait for its bursting?
Oh.
Thanks so much.
Oh,
Lovely. Wow.
wow.
Stardust.
Amazing. So this new book won the Lit Fox Award. Can you tell us a little bit about what is this Lit Fox? Is it that you're a fox and you write literature? And
yeah, so the publisher is Lit Fox Books, so it's named for the independent publisher out of Austin, Texas. So I submitted to it last year. It's the inaugural Lit Fox Award, so I'm pretty excited about that.
It's huge. Is there a cash prize too? Is it like, it's big? It's like anybody can try to get it, right?
Yeah, there's a cash prize, and it's promoted pretty widely. There's an interview as well on the publisher's site. So they've been pretty good to me as an independent publisher, and I'm pretty happy to be with them.
Nice. And then just because we had you once before, there is a I really liked your origin story of like getting an MBA first, and then can you tell that story? Because I love it.
Oh, well, I got a master's in English when my kids were smaller. And so it's kind of feels like I was working my way backwards, but then I decided to get a PhD um, later, probably around 2017. And so took I was working on it through the pandemic, which was interesting. I mean, I was prepared for it. I'm like an introverted type person, so I was always saying like, I'm built for this. I'm not, there's nothing you can do to stop me from from thriving in this environment because I'm good. But that was in 2020, and then I also went back to do the MFA program directly after that. So that was ending in 2023. So had a lot going on there for a string of years, but it served me pretty well, I think.
Yeah, you did really good. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I thought you were like, weren't you like kind of pushed into business first, and then you were like, I'm not doing that, I'm doing
poetry. Oh, right.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's like you were like, I'm going to be like the business, and then you're like, no, I'm a poet.
in high school, I was trying not to be a teacher or be anything in English. I thought I was going to be, working in. I've lived in South Carolina my whole life, so I thought I was going to be working in the business world in Charlotte. So I got a business degree, and after a couple of years, I was kind of fed up with it, tired, burnout. Not that I wasn't doing well; it was just I didn't think that's what I was made to do.
Yeah.
So I was at a crossroads. So I was like, well, maybe I should figure out what I should do. And then I remember, I was told that I should go in this direction. I just didn't listen, so I had to backtrack. So that's what all this late education is all about.
I love it because it hooked on. There was a teacher who told you that.
Yes.
Exactly. And I remember that from our last interview that there was a teacher that you were I don't know. It was such a beautiful moment because you were like this one, and you knew her name and all. You were like, this English teacher was my like guide star, and I walked away from it.
Shout out to Lisa Dival.
There it is. Yeah. Nice. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't want to monopolize, but I love that story so much. I love somebody who walks away from business and goes into poetry and makes it. That makes me very happy.
Truly lovely. Really, really enjoyed that. Thank you, Len. All right. Are we ready for our next reader?
Let's see.
All right. Well, Chital Mehta is the winner of the 2025 James Allen McPherson Prize for the novel for her manuscript, Have You Seen Romit? Forthcoming from the University of Nebraska Press in 2026. Her short fiction has appeared in The Pinch, Oyez Review, and Slab, and her work has been recognized by the Boggs Fiction Contest and the Pinch Literary Awards. An alum of Tin House and Bona, she holds an MFA from Lindenwood University and lives in Delaware with her family. Welcome, Chital.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow, super glad to be here, and this is amazing. I'm going to read from an essay that I wrote for Moten magazine a few years ago when my kids were really small and I was drafting my book that comes out this year. So I'm going to read a few sentences from that essay, and then I'll read a scene from my upcoming novel.
Great.
All right. My fears are very real. Fear of being in the I am too old to write stage. Fear of working on a book for years. Fear of not having the luxury to write for hours. Fear of finishing a novel that might not be the best. Fear of never reaching the finish line. Fear of spending too much time on a sentence when time itself is in a limited supply. Fear of time that passes too quickly. But I still write because my main character wants something that won't let her sit back. At least not yet. Not until I have helped her reach where she has to reach. And when I'm too exhausted to even think about her on the writing, I won't write. Perhaps I'll spend the night under the covers with my family or snuggle on the couch with an unhealthy snack. Now I'm going to read a scene from Have You Seen Romit? Usha doesn't want to stop moving because if she stops to rest, she'll start thinking too much. Being in constant motion is similar to cleaning or cooking with nothing on her mind but repeating the same tasks. The monotonous act of working in the kitchen calms her mind. because it gives her less time to ponder anything else. For instance, her mind is never running when Om comments about the food. Her head is a blank slate when she leaves the house to go to school. When she is moving, she is not letting disturbing thoughts dominate her. Her body follows her commands. Sweat drops from her face, soaking her kurta. It's a good thing she packed some cotton kurtas. Still, the fabric sticks to her skin like a hot burning rod. She removes the tissue from a small packet of wipes Vijaya had packed in her bag. She opens it into a square and rubs it along her face and ears. Her face turns instantly cool. They relax when the afternoon sun sinks into the clouds. Usha's feet hurt, but the cool breeze helps distract her from the pain. With each step inside the forest, she begins to feel the doubts rising in her head. Did Romit come for this trek all by himself? To see the waterfalls, then getting lost instead of returning home? Is it even possible for him to do something of this kind? A question she stopped answering long ago. No matter how much she imagines she knows her children, there will be parts of them she'll never know. There will be things about them she may never understand.
Yay.
Yes,
And
wonderful.
your kids are still pretty small, right? How old are your kids?
Yes, now they are 6 and 10.
Nice. That's
Yes.
fun. So that now they've just gone away to school. Have you found that your writing process, your creative practice, has it shifted very strongly since they've left? Since the
So
second one has
on
left?
the first day when my younger daughter also left for kindergarten, I think that was the day when I got 8 hours in a long time, in like 7 or 8 years, and that scared me. I wasn't ready for it. I'm used to writing in a like 10 minutes break or when they're watching TV. And then the day one, I was like, okay, I don't deserve this. I was very scared.
Oh,
And I
yes, you do.
It's like a
don't allow
luxury.
myself to enjoy that. I'm like, because, there's summer break, they're sometimes home. I just don't allow myself to like think that I have 8 hours. I'm just going to do writing. I still, I used to write in sprints. Like I want to be in that phase sometimes. But if I get an hour or two, I enjoy that. But yeah, I don't think much has changed because they still need me. It's scary if somebody's going to tell me that we're going to give you the whole time to write. I don't know. That's scary.
Well, it's a treasure, right? It's like getting a whole entire refrigerator full of
Yes.
food, or like the entire bar. Here's the open bar.
Yeah.
Maybe
Go be
I'll get more used to
responsible.
it.
Like,
Yeah, I'll get
It's-
used to it. The more or less they need me, I'm going to get used to this. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I had that
fun.
last Sunday. I was giddy. I was like, wow, I'm reading and writing. That's wonderful.
Really fun.
Really, really wonderful. Okay. Are we ready for
We're ready.
Fred? I hope I got this right. Is it Moten? Fred Moten is a poet, scholar, and professor of performance studies at New York University. He is the author of numerous books of poetry and criticism, including Consent Not to Be a Single Being and Perennial Fashion Presence Falling. His collaborative work spans writing, performance, and music, including projects with Stefano Harney and bassist Brandon Lopez. His work continues to shape contemporary conversations around art, performance, and Black study. Welcome, Fred.
Yay.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. So I'm going to read two poems that I wrote many years ago, actually, both sort of immediately after the birth of my of our two children. So but I'll start with the second kid first.
That's
Julian.
very fair of you.
I learned about fairness from my kids. Julian Jabril. Imperfect beat, no tonic, not at home. The bravado of your vibe and that inside smile got me running up and down the street saying, look, look, look inside my bag. See how muted he is on the outskirts of the new modal auxiliary city, my gerbil. Bent chroma of the girl who sold the sun. Little cheeks puffed out like a little cannonball. Already defending yourself from rough kisses. Come carrying your own sign in the first place. New ensembles calling for you every night, 'cause word is out about the way you straighten up. Last night, your big mama told me all about you. What waits for after, the mind can't imagine. And this is the first kid, Lorenzo Bird. 722, 709, with hands, with something to say, is mysterious, broken with happiness, Lorenzo conducting. Can't tell you how much, but my voice mimes me. There is escape in there, like an island grain that my voice sounds for, and the sound is me, but it's not me. It's a little alone. The break, the object, the bridge, the panther walks, the bridge at Panther Creek, the Cuban son of Arkansas, the madrigal of QB booms, the 8-track of QB, the train of things, the field and ash across the other yellow room, the sonnet drum, but my voice mimes. The sound came from the other one, the broken thing, the separate and touch, slant and churn, the feather bed, remember, the hands far away inside Laura, my city, and me. This is your picture book and transport pastoral, little hawk, little wren, little Noam, little Harms, little Gandhi, little Isaac Hayes, little friend, little B, my little alone, little Enzo the baker, come to help your father so they can sing your line just by glancing your hands move the history of movement and taking and holding the song insists. You say, I'm gone, but you come with me and paint your other name, gift, lightning, message, clearing, near, arrow, cluster, walker, broken, morning, element, strain, cutlass, traveler, manual, opening, curve.
I can hear the music in that.
Yes.
There's so much music in that.
There's
And I
like a
know
rhythm.
that you do frequently perform with a bassist, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What is your instrument, or is it spoken word, or do you play also?
Well, I think probably the instrument is poetry.
Yeah.
I mean,
which-
it's got
which
music,
is-
right?
I mean, I try to imagine that the poems are instruments, which means I'm not necessarily trying to read them, but I'm trying to play them.
Nice.
And it's somewhat liberating to think about it that way, because it means I don't have to read the whole thing. I don't have to say everything that I said. And I'm trying to make music along with my partner in the band. So yeah, but I've learned a lot in the last few years from working with him, and it's really, transformed the way I thought, not only about writing, new stuff, but it's kind of transformed the way I thought about the stuff that I'd been writing before too. So.
Do you do it in the jazz tradition, like where there's solos, so you get a solo and he gets a solo and you improv, or like how does this work as a composition? Are there beats? Like, how does this work? I'm so intrigued.
No, I don't think that either one of us solos in that sort of more traditional sense. I don't even know if anybody has ever really soloed. I don't think that it's kind of a misnomer in a way. You're always playing with somebody else, even if nobody else is playing. But I would say, we try to listen and make room for each other, and there might be some time, like significant gaps where I'm not, saying anything or singing anything, but I've gotten more sort of percussive as we go along. So I carry, drumsticks and little drums and stuff like that sometimes.
Nice.
Sounds instinctual and intuitive. I love it. Do we want to talk about today's theme and the interpretation by each of our readers?
Yeah, we can. I want to really quick ask Fred though about his book. Can we just? We can say in this. This is great. Like, I like it when we're all together and then everybody can just talk over each other, and that's beautiful. That's the beauty of this format, is we can all talk over each other. It's not Zoom. So, Fred, but can you just tell us real quick about Consent Not to Be a Single Being? First of all, great title.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit?
Well, the title actually comes from a great poet and novelist and philosopher from Martinique named Edouard Glissant. And so it's a quote from something he said in a film actually that was made about him some years ago. But Consent Not to Be a Single Being is actually 3 books, so they're basically a collection, three books with different essays that I sort of published polished over the course of time. I guess probably between 2013 and 2017 when the first one was published, which sort of corresponds to the childhood. My oldest, Lorenzo, was born in 2004. And it, as Chital was saying, it definitely changes the rhythm, of your work and writing. So I was kind of writing shorter type things at that point. That's what I could finish, in the little gaps of time that I had.
I see Len nodding at that too. Did that happen to you too, Len? When your kids were born, did you suddenly start writing shorter things?
I was thinking about that. I was actually, it reminded me of something like Toni Morrison said and Lucille Clifton said about how they would get up in the morning and write, or at least Toni Morrison, she would write in the hours of the morning before our kids got up, and like Lucille Clifton would say, she wrote shorter poems. So I was nodding for that. But for me, I think I was still in sort of that transition of, am I a writer when my kids were smaller? So
yeah. And now you have these little eyes looking at you and you're like, okay, imposter syndrome.
I was trying to figure it out at that point. But, I think even now, if I try to write about, say, them or my experience as a parent, I feel like I'm too close to it, I guess, to try to, involve them in the process. For me, I'm able to compartmentalize it, I guess. So
yeah,
it's a different process for me.
Totally. Yeah. So Marina, you wanted to talk about
I was going to say, we have this theme and you're open to share any angle that you wish on the theme, which is reclamation or restoration, I would assume. So would we like to go around and start maybe with Chital and just tell us what your thoughts are on that particular topic theme?
Yes, thank you, Marina. And for me, this theme, I mean, at the phase that I am, with the book coming out and, with little kids, I think every day I'm trying to make sure that I imagine just different things. Like, for me, it's really difficult to, and I think I try to tell this my kids too, because I draw this from them, this power of imagination itself, because little kids have this, they just think things out of the blue. Especially my small kids, they have questions that I would never even consider asking anybody. But because they are innocent, they have no thought process of if this is right or wrong. And I feel like, wow, I want to have that kind of strength inside me, no matter how old I get, because that helps me in my own writing. Because it's just play when I approach my desk. It's like I'm playing with Play-Doh. That's how I look at it. And I don't want to ever lose that. Even with this book coming out, however it comes out in the world, it's going to find its place. But I also want to have that power of imagination in my next book and forthcoming books. So that's how I look at it. I'm at the phase right now, with small kids, and everything that I do is tied with them. And even though they're growing older, still, I feel like I'm doing this for them because someday I can tell them that, I put my imagination into work and this is what I got. I want you to do the same, with whatever that you want to do in your life. And I feel like just even telling that theoretically, I can tell them that I tried, I did this, I made this happen, and you can do this too. So I hope that answers.
Yeah,
good.
that
Yeah, it's
sounds
a good answer.
wonderful. Yeah, I
Totally.
think you're a great example of how you've reclaimed time and creative inspiration. And now, like you said, you're still kind of going through that, like reclaiming it, right? And seeing what it looks like. And restoring even some of your skills, because now, like you said, we were doing shorter things and now you can consider longer projects, right?
Yes.
That's wonderful. All right, Len, what are your thoughts on the theme or topic tonight?
Yeah, I think it's pretty spot on with what I was trying to do with this new collection. I'm feel like I'm still pretty much in a Afrofuturistic space after this anthology that I had the opportunity to edit with Gary Jackson and Cynthia Manick called The Future of Black, which brought in a lot of poets to discuss, Afrofuturism, past and present, and even future. So I think a big piece to this work that I was trying to put out was world building. Like, how do I imagine things that aren't there, but also sort of reclaiming the past or history, especially for Black people. So that was important to me, to sort of like be on a canvas of nothing and then see what happens. Just allow myself to just imagine things or create, and be loose and free with that, instead of writing to a prompt.
Did you find yourself hitting a reality wall where you're like, oh, nobody's gonna buy this? Did you ever do that while you were writing, or did you just let yourself go?
It's definitely scary and it's risky, and so yeah, I can hear those questions, like who wants to will anybody buy this, like like, is this really a thing?
Like, can you sell this, like this, right?
So it's very interesting that Tracy K. Smith in her Life on Mars was an inspiration, and she lent some of her work also to the anthology. But she was able to, and other poets I'm thinking about as well, but she was able to imagine things or build things, describing them through things that are already here. So, because that's the only way you can get people to see something, is you have to make analogies. So that's kind of what I was trying to do in those earlier poems that I read, and then also looking at different figures, like present figures like Simone Biles, Chadwick Boseman, and others who I would consider to be like stars, like not just like celebrities, but people to look to for inspiration, and also how they deal with high pressure situations and dealing with adversity and even trauma. So I think that those two words, reimagination and reclamation, can really be seen throughout the work that I'm trying to put out.
Is that a theme to like overcome? Is that because that's what it sounds like, that there's a lot of
sound like that.
heroic figures that you're finding in real life that are done.
That's kind of a surprising, unexpected angle. I love it. That's very interesting. Love that. All right, Fred, we're back to you.
Well, I think, I really like the term reclamation. It reminds me of my grandfather, who my mom's parents lived in a small town in Arkansas. And I used to go down there for the summers, and then eventually I lived down there with my grandmother for a couple of years before I went to college. My grandfather had, at a certain point, he built a little cabin kind of next to their house that he and my grandmother called his junk house. I remember one time it was a very small town called Kingsland, Arkansas. It had like 350 people. And my grandfather came from a town right next to it called New Edinburgh, which was so small that people in Kingsland called New Edinburgh the country. So one time we went down in the country, and we were driving back because we saw my aunt, his sister, and he spotted a little baby raccoon that was kind of crawling across the road. And he got it and went and got it, and I was carrying it back in my lap when we got back to our house. And he went into his junk house, and like 10 minutes later he came out with a cage that he had made.
Nice.
So the junk house had all these scraps of wood and metal and nails, and just he didn't throw anything away. And when he needed something, he would just go make it. And I guess in a way that lesson was really deep for me. Like, you just don't throw anything away.
Everything's useful.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's beautiful. But also your grandma's like, not in the house.
Keep it in your junk house.
Well, that's where
Just going in the junk house, like, not here. No.
that's where he
great,
could keep his
though.
beer too.
But it's so interesting that it wasn't called his workshop or his
Right, his
garage.
junk
Like, it
house.
was none of this. Like, it was just like,
That's my
Yeah.
junk. Love it.
that's lovely.
That was his treasure, if you think about it, right?
So
That's what they
good.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to ask a question about particularly to Fred and Len, but even Chital, if you have done this, both of you have done so much collaborating with people. And I don't know, Chital, have you done much collaborating, or are you mostly like a novelist that
Not
writes
yet.
your own
No.
things? Okay, so let me just ask the gentleman, where do you find your collaborations? Where do they come from? You're both like, you do like anthologies, you do co-writing, you do where do these collaborations come from in your lives? Don't make me pick on you. You just have to jump in.
Come on, Professor.
Just luck, just kind of luck,
Luck.
I mean, the main person that I've collaborated with, for 38 years is my wife. And we met
Aw.
in school.
That's
And
beautiful.
so we've done a lot of stuff together and thinking together. She writes and works on a lot of the same stuff that I am interested in. And school, being able to be in a university has been great because, you sort of, it gives you a chance to, to meet people, with similar interests, and often, those folks can become, people that you work with and develop long-term relationships. So I would say, yeah, just being in school, never leaving school has probably been the best way to find collaborators.
Yeah.
I like it.
Cool. Len, where'd you find your people?
I hate to brag, but I guess it's a gift.
Oh.
Yeah, it comes out.
Somewhat of a gift. I won't even be trying, but if I see that someone else is sort of in the vein I'm in, or if I see a few people like working and they may not even realize that they're on, the same sort of plane, I'll be like, hey, you two should kind of get together here. I don't know. And it just works out like that. Or speaking of being in academia, when I see that like something that I'm reading or teaching for a class, it intersects with another field, I'll knock on a professor's door and be like, hey, you want to talk to my class or something? I think sometimes as writers, we feel like nobody else wants to do that, and everybody wants to be in their individual space and like, don't bother me, I'm too busy creating. But if you just like reach out, some people will be interested in it and not even know that there is such a thing. So that's what I was saying. While everybody's like writing, I'm the guy that's like, what, I'm stepping back and saying, this could be a thing. Let's do this through,
I love it. I
That's
love it.
wonderful.
It's like a connector and a creator at the same time.
That's so great.
Yeah, I had to dial it back too, because people kind of get tired of me at a certain point. But I just see things developing, and I'm like, why not? Because it's a great idea. That's kind of how that anthology I mentioned earlier came about. Was there was not such a thing already in the space, so we should already have had this, and it wasn't done. So I felt just kind of led to make it happen.
Yeah, I love it. Chital, let me go to you, because as a solo writer of long fiction with kids and all the things coming at you, where have you found community? I mean, I know you joined Pen Parentis, so yay. But like, tell us how, where do you find people? What do you
Yes.
need from the world that you're
So
finding?
one of the things was like because I had kids home, I haven't traveled much. I don't go outside to meet writers, but now I'm starting to though. I went to AWP this year for the first time, and it was amazing to see writers in flesh. But I'm always there. If I see a virtual conference, I try to register for that, and that's how I meet people. And I just like if I always sign up for classes. There are so many virtual classes. I'm trying to, and I also have people of color groups. There are many other groups for parents too, like me, and I'm just just reaching them out on Instagram and then sending them a message. Hey, would you like to be a friend? Like how kids make friends. I
Yeah.
think that's how it is. You just introduce yourself, and then we exchange our work. They send their work to me, and then we. Well, the good thing was these relationships that I had cultivated from the past 5 or 6 years. I was able to meet a lot of them in person this time for the first time, and that felt really good because that connection. And I think I started during the pandemic. That's when everything went virtual, which kind of worked good for me because I was staying home with the kids and I was able to make use of many opportunities that way. And so I met a lot of people that way, and they've been really good friends even now, after so many years. So
That's
that's
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
It's a thing that we're trying to cultivate in Pen Parentis. We're doing we have a national writer parent hub that anybody can just join. It's on Discord, and we're trying to get it populated because people do need to meet each other, or at least meet each other virtually. And Discord is anonymous, or can be anonymous, or anonymized, so you don't have to be intimate immediately. You can just like take your time and see how you like people.
That's
And I
important.
do,
Yes.
yeah, but crazy. Okay, what's next? What are you guys writing? What are you working on now? What's the current thing? I know Chital, you're very excited. Why are you excited? Because your novel's
I have a
coming out
release.
so soon.
Yes.
What was it like to get that call that you won that contest?
Oh, I cried. I was in the
Oh,
restaurant with my family. We were eating, and I just got a call. And I thought they were just, and then they said that we don't call just like that. We're calling to tell you that you won. And I was like, I just cried and cried. And I kept waiting for them to send me an email like, we made the mistake. Sorry, it's not you. I kept waiting, but of course that didn't happen. And it took me a time. I was like, okay, my heart feels so full today. That it was that kind of feeling because the manuscript was rejected at least 100 times before that.
wow.
So I was like, I was shelving it and working on book 2. And then this happened when I did not even think, it would come out in the world. So I think writers should apply for awards. I was in the impression that they didn't matter because that's too much competition, but you never know.
No, you never know.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
amazing. I mean, that's what Christina's book won the same award. Like we have a good track record with Pen Parentis and that award. That's
I
really
guess I have a
cool.
similar story with
Yeah.
like thinking that something's done and then you pop up and win something. So
Yeah, what was that?
like
Tell us the story.
a manuscript that I was floating out there, and I was, saying, okay, well, I'm not getting too many bites, so I was really gonna just take like a little sabbatical on writing for a while, and I said, well, let me see. This will be like my last hurrah for a little bit, submitting to this thing, and then popped up with an email saying, hey, you're it. And so I guess I was ready to, after like 10 years of like writing, publishing, editing, I was looking for maybe an excuse to say, okay, time out. But now it's like, I guess that's not happening yet. So, and I think that's important too, to, take care of yourself and take breaks and, not, not necessarily, I agree with what Chital was saying about, being recognized and feeling that you're worthy of recognition, but also it can lead to like an imbalance sometimes of like wanting that validation from everyone else. So I think it's great to when we do get that, and so I wasn't expecting it, obviously, but it happened, and so here we are.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Fred, do you have a story?
Yeah, that's all I have is stories. It's
Yes.
like
Oh, that's why we're here. We're here to hear
I
the
feel like
stories.
I'm the senior member of our group, and like when people get old, all they have is stories, and then they have to depend on everybody else to indulge them while they constantly tell stories.
You know what? It's a
actually,
beautiful thing to have a life.
We like stories. We're story lovers.
If you were how old you were and you had no stories, that would be a sad, sad thing. But here you are,
Yes.
and we're here to listen. Let's go.
well,
What's
it's
the story?
not a story, but my ears really perked up when y'all mentioned the Chitala winning, and congratulations winning the James Allen McPherson Award, because my first job was at the University of Iowa, and James Allen McPherson was my colleague.
No way.
Wow.
And
What was he like?
he was, well, first of all, he's just an amazing, extraordinary writer. Like one of the great short story writers, I think, of the 20th century. Just extremely skilled and perceptive and lyrical in the way that he writes. And he was just a nice man. He would he would knock on my door, my office door, and pick me up, and we'd take me to his house for lunch. And he had all this amazing music, but my favorite memory is he played this amazing recording of a sermon by Reverend C.L. Franklin, who was Aretha Franklin's father.
Wow.
He just,
Wow.
and of course he would tell lots of stories. And he was just a really sweet person and a really beloved teacher, there. I remember every once in a while I would see him in the parking lot, and he would just be wandering up and down the rows, because he would park his car and then forget where he parked it. But yeah, he was great. He was a really, really, really amazing writer and person. So.
That's so cool.
Sharing that.
I love it. All right. So what things happened when your kids were little that made you like you weren't sure if you were going to keep writing? Like, did you have any moments where you're like, I don't know, maybe I need to go and be a lawyer? Like, was there any moment where you had a sort of crisis of faith in your own writing, and how did you get out of it? Start with Len. Len is already nodding.
I'm always nodding. So,
good. I'll keep calling on you.
Yeah. I guess not necessarily that type of a crisis dealing with children. I guess when my children were smaller, we weren't my home wasn't their primary home. My wife at the time and I were like separating and divorcing. So they would always come to me when they were younger, like on weekends, and we would just do all manner of things, like go to museums, go to parks, go everywhere. I was trying to not have them stay home all the time. And so, but I don't think I was even in like a writing space then. I remember one time in particular, though, I was saying they don't even know that I write stuff. Huh. They just know me as dad. And so this whole like writing career business is like completely foreign to them. And so I just kind of sat them down one day and I just started like sharing my work with them. And typical kids, they didn't care.
Yeah, I was going to say, my kids don't care.
I'm just the guy that buys like McDonald's and takes them out and stuff like that. But so that's when I knew I didn't have to be a writer for them, or didn't have to introduce them to this space. I can just be dad for them, and that's fine. But interestingly enough, my son, who passed away in 2022, come to find out that I knew when he was younger, he liked to write things. And he, for his class, I remember one time he was writing, like, they allowed the class to like publish these books. They would have these little binders that they would bind them in, and like they would create their own covers. And he was writing like all of these little books himself. And his journal was discovered, and after he passed away, and he was writing a lot in that. So I mean, he had it. He had, the talent that was passed to him.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. And so he was getting it even when I wasn't giving it to him. So
Nice.
That's amazing.
It's good to know it's in the
That's
genes,
wonderful.
right? It's like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
great. Oh.
That
Chatal,
is
you
so
also had
wonderful.
something to say about the
Yes, I think
moment
I
of
lived in a
yours.
crisis for a long time, and I kept questioning, like, is this even worth it? I should probably do something else. And I used to work in IT before I came into writing. I was like, should I go back? And there was this particular time I was outside the school, waiting for my son, and I was just weeping in the car because I was 3 years into this manuscript, and I was like, these characters don't make sense. I had switched POVs, and I was like, what am I doing with my time? This is crazy. And I was like, why are these characters, keeping me awake, and I should be doing something else. And then I moved on, and I still kept writing because I was like, because they say, it's important to finish what you start. That's one thing about being a writer. I mean, regardless of whether you're going to publish or not, it's just important to finish. So instead of trying to imagine having it published, I was like, I'm just going to finish this to the best possible way that I can, and I'm going to see what happens. That's my job. Just finish it, and then I don't know if it's going to come out, if it doesn't. I'll just keep writing, and that's what I told myself. Yeah, and then on the day when I said, and then the day the call came, I was like, wow, it makes so much sense. But with my kids, I think I kept sharing about my failures too, especially about agent rejections. At night before in the bed, I would tell them that I got rejected today, and
Huh.
I think it
Aw.
kind of makes sense to them now. They were like, "What is the story about?" And you've been writing this for so long. When is it gonna come out?
Mm.
But I try to make them included. I want them to know that this is important to me, and even now I said I have a meeting and just don't knock on my door.
Yeah.
So it's
That's so
important for
good.
them to know, and I'm gonna keep doing as much as I can. I'm gonna keep including them.
That's
Yeah,
great.
that's wonderful. And I think that's a good thing. It's a good approach, right? Because you never know. Like Len's son surprised him with what
Yeah.
they found, and children do surprise you when the time comes and you see how much you've actually influenced them, or maybe that what you've given them without knowing you've given it to them, right? That's so wonderful.
Just by example. Mhm.
Yeah.
Fred, do you have a story of overcoming a moment of self-doubt
Um,
in yourself as a writer?
Probably. Well, I mean, I have days. I wake up and look at stuff, and it seems like it's really bad. That I wrote yesterday, and then but I just stop and go do something else, and I come back, and this wasn't as bad as I thought. But I think long before I had kids, when I was in college, I took a couple of creative writing courses, and one of them was with a professor who I think was going through a certain kind of period of doubts about his own writing and writer's block. And at that time I was kind of thinking, man, maybe should I, I was trying to decide if I could be like a poet, or a writer.
Yeah.
And he and I decided that I would just go ask him, and if not, then I would just get that out of my head, go to law school, basically, and like I was supposed to do. And I remember he was really nice, and we sat and looked at a map, and I showed him. He was from Mississippi, and I showed him what part of Arkansas I was from, and finally he just looked at me and he said, "Well," he said, "I don't know if you can be a writer now." He says, "All I know is it's good to be writing."
Yeah.
And I thought that was great, because it
Mhm.
basically, I didn't have to be a writer to be writing. So basically, it just meant that I could give up aspiring to that identity and just be involved in the work, in the practice of it, and everything. Most of what I write now is letters of recommendation and tenure reports, but I'm writing,
Right.
so
Yeah.
that's, I
Well,
write
and the
emails.
occasional book, like
Yeah, but that's, if I if I added up all the writing that I've done, it would be the books would be dwarfed by that other stuff. But that stuff is important too, and you know, you try to do your best whenever you're writing any of it, you know. So.
Yeah.
Somebody should write that down.
You know, I will. I'll do it. I
Do
volunteer.
it on a t-shirt.
Yep.
Put it on
Like
a t-shirt.
the little Pen Parentis Beaumont. It's really good. Actually, here, like I'm not even kidding. He has a lot of them. Like Richard Jeffrey Newman was like, "You're always playing with somebody else, even if nobody else is playing." So true. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're loving that. We're loving the Fred Moten Beaumont. I don't speak French, so sorry for my pronunciation being terrible. Okay. So as you know, like we really try to help out writers that have little kids to try to keep them on creative track. What is something that you can tell them to maybe encourage somebody, get them through something hard, even if it's just a little something, some trick, something that you did with your kids, anything that you can think of. It doesn't have to be profound, although Fred, you're setting the bar pretty high. It can be like anything you want to just say, like to like how you might get through a day or how you might get through something. Why don't we start with Chital since she's still in the thick of it?
So I'm going to tell a couple of things. First, join Pen Parentis.
I love you.
Thank
I did not
you.
pay her. That was amazing.
No, it's
Wow,
crazy.
well
I made
done.
some really good friends here. And the second thing is, don't underestimate the power of even 10 minutes. If you have just 10 minutes of writing time, that's amazing. That's how I finished a book. I just used to get like 10 minutes or 5 minutes. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I couldn't agree with you more.
Mm-hmm.
I would say just be open to the ideas when they come and not feel like you have to be in like a writing space all the time and, you know, secluded by everybody. I get ideas when I'm at the stoplight and I know I'm not supposed to be on the phone, but I'll just like type some notes in the phone because I don't want to forget, you know, a line or something that might come in when I'm just thinking about something, you know, or when your head hits the pillow. That's oftentimes when it happens too. Like I'm trying to sleep, but it's like, man, come on. I gotta get at least 5, 6, 7 hours here, and then and that'll be the time right there where it's like, okay, I'm trying to sleep, and then here comes something trying to invade.
I hate that. That's like when the writing muse shows up all of a sudden. You're like, be quiet.
Yeah. Where were you the last 23 hours? You know, so that type of thing. Yeah, just and like Chital said, you know, don't underestimate that could be like something later, and then even being able to come back to something after, you know, a period of time, and like that one line might not mean as much now as it does, you know, 3 weeks from now. So, you know, I try to have like a very, you know, fluid process and not be stuck with one thing. I know like probably fiction, prose writing, novel writing is different, but for me with poetry, it's very fluid, and, you know, trying not to get stuck into one thing so that, you know, I can have different forms and different ideas and different ways of writing rather than relying on this one thing. Because what if the situation does change? What if I do have, you know, small kids, bigger kids, teen kids, you know, the situations change. I need to be versatile.
Good one. All right, Fred.
Oh no, what
What's the
Chital
question?
and Len said, you know, basically. And I think it's just really practically it's nice to have little notebooks laying around, something you can keep in your pocket or in your purse. Pocket's even better because the quicker you can get at it, the better. And you know, and just write little fragments down and keep it, you know.
I got these from Amazon, 12 packs. These are my new best friends. I love it.
Yeah, it's if you can just manage to keep thinking that, yeah, you know, what you have, what you've written down is worth keeping.
Yeah.
and it's worth keeping, because then you can go back and work on it some more.
And if it's not, you just throw it in the junk house. We got the cutting room
Might need it
floor.
later.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to put a folder on my desktop called the junk house. I just have to put all my,
We should all
my
have
little
the
one
junk
liners in there. I don't know. I might need it later. That's
I
so
love it.
beautiful. You guys have been amazing. I can't
Yes.
believe the hour is over. You've been so fascinating and open and interesting. And I wish you all the best. I mean, my gosh, Fred, Chital, Len, you've been great. For those of you who are still watching, remember that we do have a writing fellowship that is open right now. The winner gets $2,000, a year of mentorship, a performance on one of these. We present you on a salon, and you get published. Both right now, it's both in print and online. So it is pretty huge, and we would love for you to join us. And you can either join as a Pen Parentis member and then get all of our benefits, just like Chital, or you can just enter the fellowship. You can do any of our things. They're almost all no cost or very low cost, because we get it. You're trying to raise kids. We do hope that you will come back next month for our May Salon. May 12th, we have Stephen Dunn, Suzanne Kamada, Hannah Thurman, and John Reed. John Reed is coming back for, I think, the third or fourth time.
Yeah.
So it's very fun. So anyway, thank you so much for coming and watching. Come back next month. And thanks to all our people. And let's wave goodbye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.